For 23 years, Samuel Cole has run the same mule string into the High Sierra. This morning, that routine breaks. His lead mule, Henrietta, stops dead at the mouth of Tehipite Canyon, hooves planted like stone.
Come on, Henrietta. You've walked this trail more times than I can count. What's gotten into you?
He tugs the lead rope, but the mule does not budge. The 5 mules behind her freeze in place, a wall of refusal.
23 years on this route, and never once has she balked like this.
He scans the entrance to Tehipite Canyon. The trail is the same as it was last week, the wind calm, no sign of bear or cougar.
Goop, now, move.
He tries every technique, backing her up, leading in a circle, even switching the lead to another mule, but not one of them will enter that canyon.
Something in that canyon mouth feels wrong. The silence is too heavy. No birds, no insects.
For the first time in his career, Samuel has no answer. The mules are immovable, and the canyon waits. Samuel loops the lead rope around a boulder and walks alone toward the canyon mouth, just a few yards past the threshold.
Henrietta, come, just to hear. Nothing's going to hurt you.
She doesn't even twitch an ear. The string stands rooted, 5 statues with their eyes fixed on something Samuel cannot see.
Not a bear, not a cougar. They'd spook and bolt, not freeze like stone.
He digs into a pannier and pulls out a handful of grain, Henrietta's favorite bribe. She ignores it completely.
We're burning daylight, girl. This isn't a game.
He drops the lead rope and sinks onto a granite slab, the mules motionless behind him like they've been carved from the mountainside.
4 hours I've been at this. Maybe it's just a mood. Maybe she'll walk once the sun shifts.
Samuel leans back, staring at the canyon rim. He'll give it time. Every packer knows you can't rush an animal that's made up its mind. But as the shadow of the ridge inches toward his boots, a deeper unease settles in his chest. The silence is absolute, and the canyon does not give up its secrets. 4 hours slide by. Samuel stands, joints popping, and scans the mules. No one has moved.
All right, Henrietta. You want to be the anchor? I'll put Buck up front.
He ties Buck in front. The gelding takes 2 steps, then plants his hooves as if he's hit a wall.
Not you too, Buck. That canyon hasn't changed since last week. What's in there?
He tries the others. Each one balks the moment its nose crosses the same spot.
It's not a trail hazard. It's not a scent. They're refusing the canyon itself.
Every mule stands like a statue, ears flattened, eyes locked on the canyon's dark throat.
I've led animals through flood, fire, and slides. Never seen a whole string lock up by choice.
The silence thickens, a weight pressing on his ears. No bird, no cricket, not a whisper of breeze. He tilts his head, breath held. Only his heartbeat echoes, and the canyon seems to listen back. A high, thin wail rises from deep in the canyon. Neither animal nor wind, freezing Samuel's blood. Every mule's ears snap forward. As one, they turn and start walking back the way they came. No command, no hesitation.
That's no natural sound. That's not a rock fall, not wind. That's wrong.
Samuel stands locked in place, the sound scraping inside his skull. Every hair on his arm stands rigid.
Henrietta. Damn it, girl. That's the wrong way.
Before he can decide, his legs carry him after the string. He follows, not commanding, just moving.
23 years. They've never steered me wrong. Not once.
The wail fades to a whisper, then silence, leaving only the crunch of hooves and a heavy ring in his ears.
Whatever that was, it didn't want us. And I am not about to argue.
He catches up to the string, the canyon mouth, a shrinking black slit behind. No one looks back. The string moves at a pace Samuel has never seen them take on a return leg. No stubborn pauses, no grazing. They are leaving something behind.
That sound. It's still in my head, like a tuning fork pressed to bone.
He doesn't speak, doesn't urge them on. The only sound is hooves on granite and the distant cry of a single raven.
I'll have to tell Ed. He'll think I've lost it, but the mules won't lie.
The trailhead emerges through the pines, his truck and trailer exactly as he left them, a piece of normalcy that now feels foreign. Samuel unties the panniers in silence. Every buckle, every cinch feels heavier than it should.
This canyon, I've crossed it 100 times. Why today? Why now?
He loads the mules into the trailer, then leans against the truck, staring at the dark slot of Tehipite on the distant ridge.
Enough. I am reporting this. Ed can call it whatever he wants.
He climbs into the cab, the driver's seat cold against his back. The radio handset is heavy in his grip. He will not let this stay buried. Later that evening, Samuel sits in the park office, the hum of a space heater the only sound. Ed Coleman leans back, arms crossed.
Run it by me again, Sam. Every detail.
Henrietta stopped dead at Tehipite Mouth, waited 4 hours. Then a sound, high, thin, and they all turned. Never seen anything like it.
Ed listens without interruption, his weathered face unreadable. When Samuel finishes, the silence stretches.
Off the record, you are not the first. 3 other packers. Same canyon. Spread over 50 years.
Samuel's fingers tighten on his knee. The room feels colder.
1952, 78, and '04. Every time, the mules refused. Every time, a sound, then retreat. We don't send solo trips through there anymore. Unwritten rule.
Why wasn't this in any briefing? Why don't people know?
Because we don't have an explanation. And a ranger saying the mules wouldn't go isn't policy material. But I am pulling you off Tehipite solos. Different route tomorrow.
Samuel leaves the office with a new route assignment in his pocket and a knot in his gut that won't fade until he understands what really lives in that canyon. The next morning, Ed pulls a dusty accordion folder from his cabinet. Inside are handwritten reports and faded photographs.
1952. A packer named Henderson. Same spot, same refusal. His mule spun around and nearly dragged him off the trail. 78. A veteran named Russo. He waited 6 hours, then heard that same wail, and his animals bolted.
Samuel studies the photos. Men not unlike himself, their faces bearing the same bewildered shadow he's worn since yesterday.
'04. A kid on his first solo. Nearly quit the service after. We started the unofficial rule right then. No solo trips through Tehipite.
But what's causing it? Something in the canyon. The geology.
No geologist ever found a thing. It's not seismic, not gas. You want my honest opinion? Talk to Alice Lone Bear, the tribal liaison. Her people have been here longer than our maps.
The Western Mono have lived in this valley for centuries. If anyone knows what that canyon is, it's them.
Samuel pockets a scrap of paper with Alice's name and the liaison office number. Not a report, not a directive, just a name that might hold answers. Outside the office, the Sierras stand silent under a pale sky, and the canyon waits for him to do what no official report ever has. Ask the right people the right question. Samuel dials the number Ed gave him. Alice answers on the second ring, and they arrange an afternoon meeting at the tribal liaison office. The office sits at the edge of the park boundary, a low building wrapped in pine shadow. Inside, sage and old leather hang in the air.
Mr. Cole, please, sit. Ed said you had an unusual report.
Samuel settles onto a wooden chair, his eyes scanning the room. Baskets, woven rugs, a framed map of original tribal lands.
Tell me everything. From the moment you saddled up that morning.
I've been packing Tehipite since before you came on, ma'am. Never seen an animal refuse like that. And the sound.
Alice listens without moving, her dark eyes fixed on him with the patience of someone who has heard many stories that start with disbelief.
She isn't skeptical. She's cataloging, like she's matching my words to something she already knows.
When he finishes, the silence hangs, thick as the incense drifting from a clay burner on the windowsill.
There are things the park files don't hold. but our elders spoke of that canyon in ways that might explain your mules.
What did the elders say about Tehipite exactly?
They said it was a place to avoid when the wind blew from the east, when the canyon called.
She pauses, choosing her words. The old ones had a phrase.
The canyon remembers something and asks for company. That was the warning.
Remembers something. Asks for company. Like it's alive.
Samuel feels the air in the office grow heavy. The memory of that high wail presses against his eardrums.
I cannot tell you what it remembers or what kind of company it wants. Our people never stayed to find out.
Then why did the mules refuse? What do they sense that I can't?
Alice looks at him with something like pity. The mules know what the canyon is. They always have.
23 years, and I almost walked straight into something even the mono wouldn't touch.
Samuel leaves Alice's office with the phrase burning in his skull. The canyon remembers something and asks for company.
That high wail, it wasn't random. It was calling, and the mules knew.
He walks to his truck, each step heavier. The parking lot is empty, the sky a deepening blue.
Every packer before me turned back, but none of them went back alone, without stock, just a man.
He climbs in, grips the wheel. The dashboard clock reads 5:47, enough daylight to reach the trailhead.
I have to see it again. Not with a string of mules, not with a timetable, just stand there and listen.
He turns the key. The engine hums. The road unwinds toward Tehipite, and he doesn't let himself break.
The canyon remembers. What does it remember, and why does it want me to be the company?
The trailhead appears. He parks, steps out into the cool dusk, and faces the dark gash in the ridgeline.
No mules, no partner. Just me and whatever is in there. Time to find out if the mono were right.
The trail from the parking lot is a pale ribbon in the dusk. Samuel walks it alone, the crunch of gravel the only sound.
The mules stopped right about here. They felt the line before I ever saw it.
He crosses the invisible boundary. The air shifts, a sudden cold. Not the chill of evening, but something deeper, older.
Not a breath of wind, but the skin on my arms is crawling.
The canyon walls close in, granite ridges blocking the last of the sky. Shadows pool like water in the crevices.
The canyon remembers. That's what Alice said. But remembering what? Who died here?
He stops, letting the silence press in. No birds, no insects. The same hollow stillness he felt that morning.
It's waiting. The canyon is waiting for me to go deeper or to turn back.
He walks on, each step scraping louder on the rock. The walls seem to lean in, listening. Behind him, the canyon mouth is a shrinking rectangle of twilight. Ahead, only blackness and the promise of company. A faint hum threads through the stone, low at first, then sharpening into the same high wail, close enough to scrape his teeth.
That's the same sound. Closer. Right on the other side of this bend.
The wail thins to a needle, threading words he can almost understand, a language older than any dialect he knows.
Shadows ahead, moving. Not cast by any light, standing on their own.
A tall figure drifts across the trail, its edges bleeding into mist. It has no face, only a tilt of the head that knows he is there.
Who are you? What do you want?
The figure says nothing. From the walls, more shapes peel away, slender, silent, closing in from every crevice. The wail threads through them, harmonizing with a sound like breath, like a dozen lungs exhaling in unison.
They're not just watching, they're waiting for me to take another step.
Samuel's legs lock. The canyon is full of company, and every shape leans in as if begging him to stay. The faceless shapes tighten into forms, some in old work clothes, one in a ranger's hat. They are almost people, almost voices, almost a memory that won't let go. Whispers coil around him, low and hungry. Stay, stay, stay. Not a threat, but a plea stretched thin across the stone.
They're pulling at something deeper than muscle. A weight in the back of my mind tilts forward.
His boot scrapes forward an inch, not by choice, but by a gravity that lives in the canyon floor.
Number. That's what it does. It swallows.
He forces a step backward, muscles screaming against the pull. The whispers sharpen to shrieks that scrape the rock walls. The figures stretch toward him, limbs blurring, and for a heartbeat, their hollow faces almost resolve into something desperate.
They're not just asking, they're begging. And I am the next company.
The spell cracks. Pure animal panic replaces whatever calm he had left. He wrenches his gaze from the figures, the canyon floor, suddenly foreign under his boots, every nerve screaming. In one explosion of motion, Samuel spins and sprints toward the canyon mouth. His boots hammer the stone. The whispers climb into a scream that seems to claw the air.
Don't look back. Whatever you do, don't look back.
A loose rock catches his toe. He slams into the wall, granite scraping his shoulder, but he pushes off without breaking stride. Blood runs down his arm, warm and wet, but he doesn't register pain, only distance. The rectangle of twilight expands. He sees the trailhead, the truck, and hurls himself forward. He clears the canyon mouth, stumbling into the open, the shrieking dying behind him as if cut by a blade. Samuel collapses against a pine, chest heaving. The evening air is cold and clean, and he drinks it in ragged gulps.
It let me go. Somehow, it let me go.
The canyon mouth still gapes dark and silent behind him, but he doesn't turn to check. He never looks back. Samuel pushes off the pine and stumbles to his truck. His hands shake so violently he can't grip the key.
Ed, it's Samuel. I'm at Tehipite Trailhead. I can't drive.
Stay put. I'm on my way. Don't go back in.
20 minutes pass. Samuel sits on the tailgate, the cold metal grounding him, and he does not look at the canyon. Headlights sweep the lot. Ed's Park Service truck pulls in, and the older man steps out, taking in Samuel's torn coat and bloodied arm.
You went back alone. Even after what I told you.
I had to know. Now I know. It's real. The sound, the figures, all of it.
I've never seen it myself, but I've seen the aftermath on men like you. You're done with Tehipite solos, permanently.
Samuel nods, the weight of the decision settling into his bones. He won't argue. Ed helps him into the passenger seat. The canyon looms behind them, but neither man looks back as the truck rumbles away before the sun rises. Samuel limps into the park headquarters archive room, a cramped basement filled with steel shelves and cardboard boxes. He digs through filing cabinets until his fingers hit a thick leather logbook, stamped with a faded park emblem.
50 years of trips, and every solo through Tehipite ends the same way.
He spreads the reports. July 23rd, 1952. Mules refused at Tehipite Mouth, held for 5 hours. Heard a keening sound, turned back. August 14, 1978. Pack string would not enter canyon. After 3 hours a high wail, animals bolted.
And the most recent, 2004. Almost word for word.
Tucked in the logbook, a faded note in Ed's handwriting. Solo packer trips through Tehipite, suspended indefinitely. No further incidents.
It's been happening since before the Park Service even existed. The mono knew. Now I know.
Samuel closes the logbook. The pattern is undeniable, the warning older than the trails themselves. He sits alone in the hum of the archive room, the weight of 23 years pressing into the silence. Later that morning, Samuel returns to Alice Sloanbear's office, the logbook and a folder of copied reports tucked under his arm.
You found the records. I see it in your face.
He spreads the reports across her desk, the yellowed pages bright in the morning light.
Our elders believed the canyon is like a wound. It remembers those who died inside, and it calls for others to share its sorrow. Henderson, Russo, the boy in 2004. They all heard the call. Some almost didn't come back.
A living memory. Not a ghost. Not a curse. Something older written into the rock.
That's why we never entered alone. The canyon wants company, and if you are alone, it might keep you forever.
Samuel stares at the reports, The pattern now, a chain of warnings stretching back centuries.
The mules knew. They felt it before I did, before any of us did.
He stands, the logbook heavy in his hand, but the weight feels different now, no longer a mystery, but a truth he can finally carry. Samuel strides out of the liaison office, the morning sun sharp on his face. The truth is no longer a burden, it is a boundary.
That high wail, it was the canyon calling. The shadows were men who answered. I almost did.
At his truck, he yanks open the glove box and pulls out a worn topo map, creased along the Tehipite fold. He spreads it across the hood and traces the trail with a blunt finger past the canyon mouth, then stops. He won't cross that line again.
Not alone. Not ever again. There's a logging cut 2 miles east. Longer, harder, but it stays out of the canyon's reach.
He digs a pen from the glove box and in heavy strokes crosses out the Tehipite trail, then inks the detour in green.
I'll need a partner when the route passes near it. Someone who won't laugh when I say the canyon talks.
He folds the map with care, as if it were a pact. The old route is dead to him now. He climbs into the cab, the map on the passenger seat, and for the first time in days, his heartbeat steadies. A week later, Samuel loads his mules at a different trailhead, the panniers packed for the long detour. A younger packer rides beside him, quiet, steady, the kind who doesn't ask why the route suddenly changed. The string moves easy along the high ridge. No flattened ears, no balking, just the steady clop of animals who trust the ground.
Henrietta hasn't twitched at a shadow since we started this new route. She knows.
Where the old trail would dip toward Tehipite, they cut east through a logging scar. The canyon is a dark gash, visible only if you know where to look. Ed calls him in one afternoon. No paperwork, no questions, just a nod.
The district appreciates you not making waves, Sam. Some things don't need an official explanation.
No explanation needed. Just a map, a partner, and a promise to never walk that canyon mouth alone again.
The seasons turn. Samuel rides the long way, and the canyon keeps its secrets. The unwritten rule holds. He still packs the high Sierra. He no longer takes routes through Tehipite alone, and when he passes that ridge, he never looks left. Night after night, the dream pulls him back. He stands alone in Tehipite, the sky ink black, the canyon walls pulsing with a sound that has no source.
Not again. I left. I got out.
The high wail threads through the stone, and the shadows, faceless, patient, begin to lean toward him. He tries to run, but his legs are stone, and the whispers coil around his throat like cold fingers.
It never lets go. It remembers me.
The figures close in, and just before they touch, Samuel rips awake with a gasp. His cabin is silent. The sheets are twisted, his chest slick with a cold sweat that never fully dries.
Every morning the dream. Every morning, the proof that the canyon didn't let me go. It just lent me out.
He splashes water on his face, the reflection in the window harder than it was before Tehipite. Outside, the pines sway in a morning breeze. The canyon is miles away, but in the still hour before dawn, it feels close enough to touch. The sun climbs over the ridge, warm on Samuel's back as he cinches the last pannier. The nightmare clings like mist, but the animals are calm. He swings into the saddle, Henrietta's ears forward, and the string falls into line without a command.
She knows today's route won't brush against that canyon. None of us will.
They ride the new trail, the high meadow bright with lupine. A younger packer rides beside him, saying nothing. At the ridge, Samuel's eyes drift left. The canyon is a slit of shadow, distant and still.
It's still there, waiting, but not for me, not alone.
He nudges Henrietta right toward the sunlit pass, and the string follows. The canyon recedes. The rest of the pack is routine. Ford the creek, clear a slide, drop supplies at the ranger cabin. But every mile, the memory rides shotgun.
The mono were right. It remembers, but so do I. And I remember to stay away.
The day is golden, the panniers light. Samuel Cole is still a packer. The canyon is still a wound, and some trails are not meant for the solitary. The pass opens before them, and the high Sierra stretches in all directions. Granite and sky, no shadow of Tehipite.
It'll always be there, but so will I, and I'll always ride the long way.
He and his partner crest the saddle, the string moving like a single animal, and start the long descent toward the ranger station. Far behind, Tehipite Canyon is a thin black seam in the ridgeline, quiet and patient. Samuel Cole never packed through that canyon alone again. The Park Service record remains the same, an unwritten rule respected by the few who know. And on still nights, when the wind blows from the east, the canyon still remembers. It asks for company, but it will not get his. Some truths are older than the trails themselves, and some trails are not meant for the solitary. The camera holds on the canyon as the riders vanish into the wilderness, a dark gash that will outlast them all.